Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Salient Aquatics. It's good to see you. I was asked by a few people a while back to do another fish tour video, but I figured let's do a fish tour slash feeding and talk about some things along the way. So I hope you enjoy it. Leave your comments below at the end and let me know if you have any other requests when we're finished. I also talk about the different foods that I feed them and show them as well. So do a little bit more camera work on this one. So let me know what you think. Appreciate you guys. And here's the 55-gallon grow-out tank for the Oscars. They have been strictly raised on Northfin food so far, a little experiment I'm working on. I like to feed them Northfin jumbo fish. It's a nice sized wafer for them. And like I was saying, I'm comparing this to my older Oscars, which you'll see a little bit later, who was raised on a varied diet. They're doing real good so far. I had 4, got down to 2. The albino died and the third one got beat up and killed. I tried to fix them, but it didn't work out too well. But these guys are doing real good. And of course, this is what I call my little Petco tank I found free on the side of the road. It's been a great little vacation slash quarantine tank, although it has been occupied by these angelfish since I raised them from babies. There's 6 of them in here. They're doing real well. And the plan is to move them to one of these 75-gallon aquariums once a 125 is available. Now, of course, that was to be after I got the 300 fixed. But it's going to be a little time before I can get that done because I have to do that work in late spring so I can open the door so I don't have that strong silicone smell next to the birds that are next to my fish room here. So I got some planning to do before that happens. And here's the oldest aquarium that I have had. Not the oldest aquarium in the room, but the oldest one that I have had. It was my first aquarium, 55-gallon. Turned it into my tiger barb tank years ago. Certainly one of my favorite fish. You can tell that by my channel icon. Got a lot of plants in here. I don't have a lot of problems with aggression with these fish because I have provided lots of plants and places for them to hide and sight breaks, and there's lots of them in here, and I plan to add more tiger barbs to this aquarium. And anytime I added more, I add 6 to 7 at a time. If it's such a well-established tank, if I wanted to, I could add 10 at a time and not have a problem, which will further mitigate aggression. They are species only. There's nothing else in this aquarium, and I have minimal issues with them. They're happy, they're healthy, they're growing really good. I'll zoom in here for you a little bit closer so you can get a better look. Bear with me, I'm panning the camera by hand, so there's little jumps. I apologize for that. I don't have any fancy equipment. I just do everything manually. But as you can see, they're looking great. Love their colors. Now here's an aquarium you don't see very often. It's almost as old as my 55-gallon as far as being with me. 29-gallon, heavily planted. I'm doing a mix of Northfin flake foods for them here. There's a lot of little baby fish in here. When I condensed all my small tanks, this is where they went. Apologize for getting in front of the camera at times, but that lid wouldn't go down because of my pothos, and I didn't want to break my pothos stems. Get out of the way. Thank you. There's a mix of a lot of different plants in here, anywhere from jungle vow to Asian water fern to crypts to anubias, you name it. It is heavily planted, and I don't have to do water changes in it much. One that's just got a bunch of small little fish in it, like rasboras, longfin zebra danios, regular zebra danios, neon tetras, platies. I can't even remember all of them. There's a longfin serpe tetra in here. He hangs out at the bottom of the back, usually on the right side. Lots of different rocks work at the bottom and driftwood. They're doing good. I did have a platy die in here recently, but there was no reason behind it. He looked fine. I think he just reached his age. But I certainly like this aquarium for sure. And here we got the 125 community tank. Lots of fish in here, angelfish. As you can see, that big bad boy, beautiful orange blood parrots. Over there on the right, I got a big pleco. He don't look so big right there, but he's a big boy. There's black skirt tetras in here, glowfish that I rescued from the community. On the left-hand side, you'll see me drop some jumbo or carnivore pellets for the pictus catfish. They're always on the left side of the aquarium. I have to put a cloud of flake food in here like that so I can ensure that these blood parrots will eat. They can suck them in pretty easily. Due to the way they were made, their mouths are always open, so I have to ensure they eat by feeding them this way. I know this looks like a lot of food, but these fish eat it all up. There's an mbuna in here that I had to put in here years ago that was bullied. He was one of the original mbunas I started my mbuna tank with, and After I healed him up, I just left him in there because he gets along, he's happy, and why fix what's not broken? There is other fish in here. I can always have trouble remembering on the fly all the fish that I have. But I really enjoy this aquarium here. It's going on strong. I have minimal issues out of this aquarium as far as any fish deaths or anything. There's been different fish in this aquarium over the years, like blue dwarf gouramis, um, that I've had in the past that have, long since died and were taken out. The angelfish used to fight a lot. They seem to be getting along a lot better nowadays. You can't see them, but there's some black Ascara red-eyed angels in here. They're they're so dark it's hard to see them against the background. I have that same issue with my pleco. That's something we're going to discuss when I get to feed my Dempsey. There's a pleco in there, and I bet you can't see it. If you can spot it, let me know in the comments. We'll talk about it when we get there. But I feed these guys all kind of different food. Obviously, because I got big and small fish, I have to feed different sized pellets of food so they can all get something to eat. How you see this tank that's set up, and here's the jumbo, or yeah, I fed them the jumbo this time. I'll drop them on the left. You see them going down, and they'll sit right there where they're always hanging out. I call them my little race cars. Just picked this catfisher like that squirrel from over the hedge, running around like crazy. And of course, here's my 75-gallon Mabuta tank. Started with 10. Now I easily have at least 50 in here. There's small ones you can't see that hide under the rocks. So again, when I feed this aquarium, I have to feed different size food so they all get a chance to eat. Here, as I show, I fed them Bug Pro. That's one of their favorite. Or no, I didn't feed them Bug Pro. I fed them their veggie mix. My veggie mix consists of Northfin Veggie and NLS Algae Max. And then I'll also put in some of the community pellets and the nano pellets from Northfin, so all the little fish down below can eat as well. They're constantly reproducing and having babies in here. And as I said, these guys are going to eventually move to a 125 when one becomes available. Vigorous eaters. I can't remember the last time I had one of these die. They're a very hardy fish. One of my favorite in the hobby for sure, due to the coloration, how active they are, how strong they are. A very hardy fish in my experience with them. I got it filled with Texas Holy Rock, and here's the two foods I fed them here. It's actually 4 foods in those 2 containers all together. It's looking a little yellowish because I got to scrape the algae off the glass tops. I got to get that done because I think it really takes away from the beauty of the aquarium. This is ran by an FX4 and an AC110 HOB as backup. I had to add the extra filtration because due to the amount of the fish, it had to be done. And of course, the 125-gallon fancy goldfish aquarium. At one time, I had 4 or 5 or 6 of these guys in here. Over the time I've had them, some of them have died off. These fish came with the aquarium when I got it. The big one in front of you, when I first got her, had bloat. I was able to beat that. Never mind the extreme label on here. This is Northfin Goldfish food. I just didn't take the label off when I was using extreme. These are the last 2 of the fish left, and I will be doing some better camera work here with you shortly. I'm going to zoom in for you, and I'll feed them the goldfish food. There's also a Golden Dojo Loach running around in here. He likes to sit on top of the plants a lot and get into different things. He's an old man, so I don't really expect him to live much longer. They're said to live 6 to 7 years. Well, he's exceeded that already. But I always enjoyed goldfish. But if I was going to get more goldfish, I'd probably go ahead and get the regular goldfish, because fancy goldfish, although pretty, they're very sensitive. I have more problems out of goldfish than anything as far as bloat goes, and that's the main problem I have with them. But these guys are the last 2 going on strong. She's a big girl. And I mean, they're pretty, but you can get some pretty regular goldfish too. I one time got about 25 feeder goldfish and raised them up, and they were beautiful fish. Coming over here, we're going to pan over to the 125-gallon Oscar aquarium. I like to feed them the Northfin carnivore wafers. It's a 9mm wafer, great for how big these guys are. Again, one of my favorite fish by far. So we'll go ahead and drop some of these wafers in. I'll show you what they look like here. As you can see, they're a nice size for a big fish. And as you can see, they certainly like them a lot. Boom. Boom. These guys were raised in this aquarium and been in it ever since. And my plan is when I get the 300-gallon fix to move them to it. And then I was going to move the Mabuna to this aquarium. But we'll see how the goldfish go. They may have to go to that goldfish aquarium instead. But we'll see. It all comes down to time and circumstance. I'll zoom in so you can get a real good look at these guys. That albino is beautiful too. Really love the Oscars. That's why I got more and I'm growing 2 more out. I'd like to get more in the future, maybe some different ones, lemons and such. The ones that I'm growing out now are different from these guys. I'm real excited to see what they look like when they grow out. The albino I've noticed I think his eyesight isn't as good, and June over at Only Oscars told me that they don't have as good as eyesight, and albinos tend to be a little bit weaker than the other ones. But nevertheless, they're both doing really good. Of course, the one on the right, Milo, he's always crabby and always pushing the other one around, always has, but it's not to the point of death, or they don't never fight. They've locked lips a couple times, but it's nothing. I think it's all in, hey, I'm the boss, you need to get out of here type of thing, and they move along. They've always gotten along pretty good, never have issues. I think the 125 is good for the 2 of them for a long term, but I like to try to provide them the biggest home as possible. So that's one reason why I want to move them into the 300 when it's fixed, because I want them to live the best life that they can. And I have one now. I just got to get the stupid thing fixed. I can't tell you how bad that 300-gallon irritates me. You guys all know that story, anyone that's been following me long enough. But a beautiful fish. We all know how Oscars can be. They're always, like everyone says, puppies of the water world. They're always at the front asking for food. And Milo, of course, on the right is always crabby and coming after my hand at times and wanting to beat me up. The albino here, Otis, I call him. On the left, he's real chill. And of course, this is the 65 tall convict tank. There's 3 convicts in here, and I plan on feeding them some Bug Pro today. They certainly love the Bug Pro. And here it is. I put it in a big container. I had a red-tailed shark in here, but somehow he got himself into a very small, tiny little nano powerhead, and it chewed him up. So what's left is the 3 convicts, but that's fine. I'm hoping they reproduce. As you can see, they're really pretty. They love the Bug Pro, as you can see. And I'll be doing some zooming in here with the camera. You'll get a good look at them. They definitely chase each other a lot. I don't think there's too many fish I want to put in here with them, unless they have the same attitude. But as I zoom in here, you can really get a look. You see what I mean about them chasing each other. You see the 2 sponge filters running on the left. I just run those to have, in case I need to quick cycle an aquarium, like a QT tank, which my QT setup is under this aquarium. But I love the orange in their bellies, and they got pretty blue fins, and the castles I put in here because they needed a place to hide because there was too much aggression. And this is the only thing I had on hand that was large enough. And I'm really glad I put them in here because I think these castles look great in this aquarium. I'm not a huge fan of fake decorations, but I think they do really add to this aquarium. And the fact that the fins on the fish match the colors on the castle was perfect. Don't really know what my plans are for this one going forward, but I'm just leaving it be for what it is for now. And this is the aquarium I do have the Higer hang on the back canister filter running on, which is still running on strong. Really liking it so far. Just some jungle vow, big piece of driftwood, the castles. The jungle vow's growing fast. There's that was a good shot of him. He's really pretty. I'm trying to follow him. He's really chasing after that other one today. But let's move on to the next aquarium. And here is a 75-gallon where I have my Jack Dempsey. The only other fish in this aquarium is a common pleco. I had to put this pleco in this aquarium because he's a little bit more of an aggressive pleco. And he was the only one in this aquarium. So I wanted to make sure I wanted to have a fish in here that had the equal attitude so they could put each other in their place. So when I was looking for, I knew I wanted a Jack Dempsey. Boy, he likes those carnivore wafers too. Really good for him. But when I went to the store, I know I wanted a Dempsey, and I saw him chasing all these huge fish around. I said, that's the guy I want. So as you can see here, not only is he beautiful, but I love his attitude. I kind of like fish with attitude. So I put him in this aquarium, and they've chased each other back and forth a couple times, but over the time of being together, they've just got this general respect for each other now, and as a result, I have a well-balanced aquarium. They leave each other alone now for the most part. As a matter of fact, they actually hang out with each other. Now, I'm pretty sure they became buddies. But this guy here, when I get to 300 fixed, is a candidate for going into 300, but we'll see. I don't know. He does have good attitude. I might have issues with him butting heads with the Oscar. And you can see the size of this wafer. That was for the pleco. It's a kelp wafer. But I just love the colors on him. The lighting in this aquarium is a little bit dim. This is one of my pendant lighting setups. Might have to change it a little bit.